tropic sun beats down on the whaling ship Charles W. Morgan as it moves slowly across the glassy sea. Its sails barely ripple. High aloft in the iron hoops of the masthead, the lookout strains his eyes against the glare. Then, on the horizon, a spray of water spouts skyward.
There she blows!
We're away!
Off the port bow!
And the boats!
Here, lend a hand there! Break out those oars! Go!
This was it. Everyone aboard the Morgan had the same purpose, to see that the hunt was a success, so she could return home with barrels of oil in her hold.
Hanks is my name. I was head man on the Morgan, and it was my job to make the mortal wound in the whale after the harpooner struck. I remember that day in the hot Pacific. We pulled as close as we could to the huge beast. In the bow, the harpooner was ready with his iron. Yes, it was dangerous. The harpoon line could snag a man's arm and drag him overboard. Sometimes a mean whale could slam a boat with his flukes and crush it like a stick. When the whale opened his giant jaws, it looked like a monstrous cave.
Now!
On the mark. The harpoon struck deep into the whale. Quickly, I changed places with the harpooner. At any moment, the whale could sound and pull us under the waves with it. I threw my iron. Got him!
Now the hardest part was ahead. First, it was hauling that huge animal back to the Morgan. Then the giant 90-foot carcass was lashed to the ship's side by heavy chains. Blubber was cut into slices and tossed into large metal pots on the deck. Fires in brick hearths boiled the fat into oil. All day and all night the work went on. The smell of burning grease was everywhere, even down in the forecastle where the men slept. Then the oil went into barrels and was stored below.
We got 150 casks of oil from that one whale. The next morning we found the wind had died and our sails hung limp. We drifted nearer and nearer a palm tree island. Suddenly, from the beach, hundreds of war canoes came swarming towards us. We saw native spears flashing in the sun.
Cannibals!
They were fierce savages. The captain ordered us to grab harpoons, lances, and cutting tools to defend ourselves. Without wind, we were helpless. We couldn't escape.
Stand by to repel boarders!
We beat them off. We knew it was only for a while. They would try again. Then, quietly at first, it came. A breeze. The sails rippled. Then the sails filled and billowed out. The Morgan moved slowly away from that island of death. We all breathed easier.
That was the way it happened to the Charles W. Morgan in the Pacific. Some natives were friendly, but others were always ready to kill the whalers. As the years went by and whales became harder to find, the Charles W. Morgan went searching in other areas. She sailed to the far north, where her enemies were cold, howling winds and mountains of ice that loomed out of the mists to threaten her. Charles W. Morgan was the only wooden whaler that survived the perils of weather and water to finally earn her rest.
It was in 1921 that the crew, all 33 of us, finally put away our tools and boots. The Morgan's sailing days were over.
The barrel-bottomed, copper-plated Morgan sailed the seas for 75 years. When at last she tied up for good, she had earned $2 million. Today you can see this very ship at the dock in Mystic, Connecticut. Her 3 masts still point proudly skyward, as though testing the winds for signs of good sailing, good hunting.